My beloved child, stop right where you are. Do not scroll. Do not let distraction steal this moment. I am speaking to you now, and these words are not random, not accidental, not delayed by chance. You passed my test, dear child. You endured what you did not understand. You stood firm when you felt weak. You remained faithful when silence surrounded you. And now I tell you clearly, without hesitation, without mystery, you passed. Do not delay. Do not question whether this is truly for you. Your reward has arrived. I have brought you to this very moment on purpose. Before you woke today, before your thoughts formed, before your worries tried to speak louder than my promises, I had already arranged this encounter. This is not coincidence. This is a divine appointment. I have interrupted your day because I refuse to let you miss what I am releasing into your life. You have been asking me quietly, sometimes with tears, sometimes with frustration, sometimes with barely enough faith to whisper my name. Lord, have I done enough? Have I endured enough? Have I proven myself? And now I answer you directly, yes. You have proven your heart. You have proven your loyalty. You have proven that even when nothing made sense, you still chose not to walk away from me. Listen carefully. A helper has already been released from heaven on your behalf. I did not wait until you were perfect. I did not wait until you felt ready. The moment your endurance reached its fullness, I gave the command. Movement began in the unseen. Doors started aligning. Conversations you do not yet know about began shifting. I have dispatched assistance into your path, and you must be alert. You must be ready to open immediately when the opportunity appears. If you ignore this moment, if you brush this aside, you delay your own blessing. Not because I withdraw it, but because hesitation slows what obedience accelerates. I am calling you into immediate trust. I am calling you to recognize that what you prayed for is now closer than your fear. Within the next few moments, I will reveal to you what you endured and why I allowed it. Stay with me. Do not turn away. What you are about to understand will change the way you see your entire season of struggle. You wondered why the silence lasted so long. You questioned why doors closed one after another. You felt confined in places that once felt comfortable. You asked why certain people walked away, why certain opportunities dissolved, why the path seemed to narrow instead of expand. My child, you were being tested in ways you did not recognize. You thought the test was about success. It was not. You thought the test was about strength. It was not. The test was about your heart. Would you remain when the excitement faded? Would you trust me when I did not explain myself? Would you choose integrity when no one was watching? Would you refuse bitterness when betrayal tried to take root? I watched you carefully, not to condemn you, but to observe your growth. Every tear you cried in private was recorded. Every time you wanted to give up but decided to pray instead was counted. Every moment you swallowed your pride, every time you forgave when it hurt deeply, every decision to walk away from something that tempted you but would have weakened you, I saw it all. You felt alone, but you were under divine observation, and heaven was witnessing your endurance. The enemy believed you would break under pressure. He believed isolation would make you doubt me. He believed delay would make you bitter. But you did not break. You bent, but you did not break. You questioned, but you did not curse my name. You felt tired, but you did not abandon your faith completely. Even when your prayers were weak and your worship with quiet, you still reached toward me. That is why I declare with authority you passed. The silence was not punishment. It was preparation. I was strengthening you in hidden places. I was removing dependencies you did not even know you had. I was teaching you to hear my voice without constant reassurance. I was cutting away pride, fear, and the need for human approval. I was building resilience in your spirit so that the blessing would not crush you when it arrived. Understand this clearly. Reward without preparation destroys. Many desire what you are about to receive, but they would not survive its weight. I delayed not to deny you, but to protect you. I allowed the fire not to harm you, but to refine you. Just as gold is purified by heat, your character was purified by waiting. And now what remains is stronger, clearer, more focused. Right, God is my anchor of hope if He keeps you steady through life's waves. You prove yourself worthy not by being flawless, but by being faithful. You stayed when walking away would have been easier. You prayed when nothing seemed to change. You kept your heart soft when circumstances tried to harden it. You chose obedience in small, unseen moments. Worthiness in my kingdom is not about performance. It is about perseverance. Now the helper I am sending will not arrive as noise and spectacle. Pay attention. It may come as a conversation, an idea, an unexpected message, an opportunity that feels almost too simple. It may come as a person I position strategically in your path. It may come as clarity that suddenly replaces confusion. When it comes, open immediately. Do not overthink. Do not analyze it to death. Do not let fear disguise itself as caution. The enemy will attempt one final whisper. He will say, "This is not real. This is not for you. You are imagining it." Reject that lie. You asked me for help, and I am answering. You asked me for movement, and I have initiated it. You asked me to remember you, and I have declared your name in the courts of heaven. Your reward is not only material. It is peace that steadies your mind. It is restoration in places you thought were permanently damaged. It is confidence where insecurity once ruled. It is acceleration where stagnation once lived. What you cried for in secret is now manifesting in ways you did not expect. Do not delay your blessing any longer by clinging to old fear. Do not sabotage what I am building by returning to habits I already freed you from. This moment requires courage. It requires surrender. It requires immediate trust. When I say move, you move. When I say release, you release. When I say open, you open. There is a shift already unfolding around you. You may not fully see it yet, but you can sense it. That subtle stirring in your spirit, that awareness that something is changing, that is me. I am positioning you at a holy intersection. Your next decision matters deeply. Choose trust. Choose obedience. Choose faith over hesitation. You passed my test, dear child. Not because you never struggled, but because you refused to let struggle define you. I am proud of you. I am pleased with your endurance. I am honoring your faithfulness. Now receive what I have prepared. Open your heart. Open your hands. Open the door when I knock through opportunity. Your helper is on the way. Your season is shifting. Your reward is here. Do not delay any longer. My beloved child, come closer and listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal will change the way you see everything you have just walked through. You believed you were simply surviving a hard season. You thought you were enduring random struggles, unexplained delays, and silent heavens. But there was more happening than your eyes could see. There was a test unfolding around you, and you did not even know you were taking it. You wondered why the silence lasted so long. You prayed and waited, and it seemed as though my voice had grown distant. You searched for signs, for reassurance, for quick answers, but all you felt was quiet. That quiet was not abandonment. That silence was not rejection. It was sacred. I allowed the silence because I needed to see what your faith would do without constant confirmation. Would you trust me when you could not trace me? Would you remain steady when you could not feel me near? The silent season was not emptiness, it was examination. You asked why your prayers felt delayed. You pleaded with me for change, for breakthrough, for relief. And when nothing moved as quickly as you hoped, doubt tried to creep into your heart. You questioned whether I was listening. You questioned whether you had done something wrong. But my child, delay is not denial. I was not ignoring your voice. I was measuring your endurance. I needed to know if your devotion was tied to quick results or rooted in deep trust. I needed to see if you would continue to pray when the answers did not come immediately. You knocked on doors that did not open. You stood before opportunities that suddenly closed without explanation. You prepared for things that fell apart at the last moment. And each time a door shut, frustration filled your heart. You wondered why I would allow hope to rise only to let it collapse. But those closed doors were not punishment. They were protection. Some doors closed because what was behind them was not strong enough to carry the future I have for you. Some doors closed because I was strengthening you first. And some doors closed because I was watching how you would respond when disappointment came. This was a hidden spiritual examination. Not one written on paper, not one announced publicly, but one observed carefully in the unseen realm. Heaven was watching. The enemy was watching. Your reactions, your words, your thoughts, your decisions in small, quiet moments were being measured. You thought you were simply going through life, but you were being refined, shaped, and weighed. Please support our channel. Our work is to spread happiness in your life and encourage devotion to God. If you wish to support us, you can donate through Super Thanks. The enemy observed your endurance closely. He believed that pressure would break you. He whispered lies into your mind, telling you that I had forgotten you, that your faith was pointless, that your waiting was foolish. He studied your weak moments. He watched when you cried. He hoped that exhaustion would push you away from me. He tried to convince you that quitting would be easier than continuing. But you did not surrender completely. Even when your faith felt fragile, you did not fully let go. You were tested in patience. When everything inside you wanted immediate answers, you learned to wait. When others around you seemed to move ahead quickly, you stayed in your position. It was not easy. Comparison tried to poison your peace. Impatience tried to stir frustration in your spirit. But you held on longer than you thought you could. That patience was not wasted. It was strengthening your roots. You were tested in loyalty. Would you remain committed to me when I did not remove every struggle? Would you still speak my name when circumstances did not change? There were moments you felt tempted to distance yourself. Moments when you felt tired of hoping. Yet you continued. Even if your prayers became shorter, even if your worship became quieter, you did not walk away entirely. Your loyalty was imperfect, but it was real. You were tested in obedience. I asked you to let go of things you wanted to hold. I nudged you to step back from people and patterns that felt familiar. I prompted you to choose integrity when compromise would have been easier. No one applauded those decisions. No one gave you recognition. But I saw every act of obedience. Each time you chose the harder right over the easier wrong, you were passing the test. You were tested in humility. There were times when pride wanted to defend itself. Times when you wanted to prove your worth, to argue, to demand recognition. But you swallowed your pride. You allowed me to fight battles you wanted to handle yourself. You chose silence instead of retaliation. You chose surrender instead of control. That humility shaped your spirit in ways you cannot yet see. Heaven recorded every tear you cried in private. Every night you lay awake wondering how much longer you could endure was noted. Every silent breakdown in your car, every quiet prayer whispered into your pillow, every moment you felt unseen by the world was seen clearly by me. Not one tear was wasted. Not one sigh went unheard. I collected them as evidence of your perseverance. You thought you were barely surviving. You believed you were just trying to make it through each day. You felt weak, tired, and unsure. But while you were trying to survive, you were actually passing. Every time you chose not to give in to bitterness, you passed. Every time you forgave when it hurt, you passed. Every time you showed kindness when you were exhausted, you passed. Every time you trusted me a little more than your fear, you passed. You did not need to be perfect to pass. You needed to remain. And you remained. Even when you stumbled, you returned. Even when you doubted, you prayed again. Even when you questioned me, you did not abandon me completely. That persistence mattered more than you know. I was silent, but I was watching with pride. I was not distant. I was attentive. I observed your growth. I saw your character forming under pressure. I watched you choose faith over despair more times than you realized. And my heart was pleased. There were moments I wanted to answer immediately. There were times I could have removed the struggle instantly. But if I had, you would not have developed the strength you now carry. You would not have discovered the depth of your own endurance. You would not have learned to lean on me instead of on temporary comfort. The silent season revealed what was truly inside you. It showed you where your trust was strong and where it still needed growth. It exposed hidden fears so they could be healed. It revealed attachments that needed to be released. It deepened your prayer life beyond surface requests. It taught you to value my presence more than quick outcomes. You were not being ignored. You were being prepared. The delay was shaping you. The closed doors were guiding you. The quiet was strengthening you. The test was not to fail you but to elevate you. Now you stand stronger than before, even if you do not fully recognize it. You have more patience than you once did. You have more discernment than you once carried. You have deeper humility. You have quieter but steadier faith. The fire did not destroy you. It refined you. My beloved child, understand this deeply. You were never barely surviving. You were enduring with grace I placed within you. You were passing a test that qualified you for what is coming next. You were proving that your heart could handle greater responsibility, deeper blessing, and stronger authority. I was silent, but I was watching with pride. I saw your struggle. I saw your tears. I saw your restraint. I saw your courage in small, unseen moments. And now the season of examination is shifting. What you learned in silence will support you in what I am about to release. You passed the test you did not know you were taking. And because you endured, what comes next will not overwhelm you. It will meet a heart that has been strengthened, refined, and proven faithful. My beloved child, now let me explain why the test was necessary, why I allowed the fire to burn longer than you desired, why I did not immediately remove the pressure when you begged me to. You saw the hardship, but you did not see the purpose. You felt the heat, but you did not understand the transformation taking place within you. Nothing you endured was random. Nothing was wasted. Every moment was part of refinement. Refinement does not happen in comfort. Gold is not purified in cool air. It is placed into fire. The heat exposes what does not belong. Impurities rise to the surface and are removed. Without fire, gold remains mixed with what weakens it. In the same way, I allowed you to walk through fire so what was hidden inside you could be revealed and purified. Not to shame you, not to punish you, but to strengthen you. There were traces of pride that needed to be softened. Not the loud pride that boasts openly, but the quiet pride that believes you could manage everything on your own. You carried burden silently, thinking you had to be strong without leaning fully on me. You believed you could fix situations through effort alone. So I allowed circumstances that exceeded your strength. I allowed moments where your plans failed. I allowed situations where your control slipped through your hands. Not to humiliate you, but to teach you dependence on me. There was fear hidden beneath your confidence. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. Fear of not being enough. And as long as life remained predictable, that fear stayed buried. But when uncertainty entered your life, that fear surfaced. You felt exposed. You felt vulnerable. You questioned your ability to endure. The fire revealed that fear so I could begin removing it. Because the future I have prepared for you cannot be carried by someone controlled by fear. I had to teach you courage in hidden places. There was also dependence on people that needed to be broken gently. You leaned heavily on the approval, validation, and support of others. You found comfort in knowing someone was always there to reassure you. But what happens when people step away? What happens when voices grow silent? I allowed certain relationships to shift so you would learn that your foundation must be built on me first. People are blessings, but they are not your source. I am your source. Say, Jesus, my life is yours forever if you've given him everything. Old attachments clung to you more tightly than you realized. Some habits felt safe because they were familiar. Some patterns felt comforting because they were predictable. But familiarity is not always destiny. I had to break attachments that were keeping you anchored to a smaller version of yourself. It hurt when those attachments loosened. It felt like a loss, but it was actually liberation. You cannot step into a new season while gripping the remains of the old one. Through the fire, I was teaching you spiritual discernment. Before this season, you often trusted appearances. You believed what looked promising without seeking deeper understanding. But when certain situations disappointed you, when certain people reveal unexpected signs, your eyes began to open. You started asking me for clarity. You began listening more carefully. You started sensing when something was not aligned with my will. Discernment is not learned in ease. It is developed through experience and surrender. Strength was being built in secret. Not the kind of strength that draws applause, but the kind that anchors your soul. You thought you were weakening because you cried more. You thought you were fragile because you felt deeply. But true strength is not the absence of emotion. It is the decision to remain faithful despite emotion. Each tear was not weakness. It was evidence that you were processing transformation. Gold refined in fire does not lose value. It gains purity. The heat does not destroy it. It reveals its true form. In the same way, the pressure you felt was revealing your true character. You discovered resilience you did not know you had. You found patience that surprised you. You learned to sit in uncertainty without collapsing completely. You learned to trust my voice more than the noise around you. Understand this deeply. Reward without preparation destroys. If I had given you immediate success without refinement, pride would have grown unchecked. If I had opened every door quickly, you would have relied on opportunity more than on me. If I had removed every struggle instantly, you would have remained spiritually shallow. Blessing without maturity becomes a burden. Authority without humility leads to downfall. Influence without discernment invites destruction. I delayed to protect you. Hear that clearly. I delayed to protect you. I saw what you were asking for, and I knew it was coming, but I also saw what inside you needed strengthening first. The delay was mercy. The silence was shelter. The fire was preparation. I would rather stretch you in private than watch you collapse in public. There were battles you did not see that I was fighting for you. There were paths you almost took that would have led to confusion and regret. There were opportunities that looked beautiful but carried hidden traps. By closing certain doors, I prevented damage you might not have recovered from easily. By allowing waiting, I spared you from rushing into situations that were not ready for you. You asked why I did not answer sooner. My answer is this: because I love you too much to give you what you are not prepared to sustain. A blessing given too early could become a curse. A platform given too soon can crush your spirit. A relationship entered without maturity can wound your heart deeply. Timing is not just about desire, it is about readiness. The fire also revealed what truly matters to you. And it is easy to say you trust me, but in hardship, your true priorities surface. You discovered whether you valued my presence more than quick results. You learned whether your faith was rooted in convenience or commitment. That revelation was necessary. I was removing layers you did not even know were there. Layers of insecurity masked by achievement. Layers of comparison hidden behind ambition. Layers of subtle resentment that formed when life did not unfold as expected. Fire reveals. Fire cleanses. Fire prepares. You are not the same person you were before this season began. You may not recognize it fully yet, but your spirit is steadier. Your dependence on me is deeper. Your discernment is sharper. Your humility is stronger. Your patience has stretched. That is not accidental. That is refinement. When gold emerges from fire, it shines differently. It carries strength and purity that were not visible before. In the same way, what I am about to release into your life will meet a heart that hath been refined. You will handle it differently now. You will steward it with wisdom. You will not cling to it as your identity. You will not allow it to replace me as your source. I delayed to protect you. I delayed to strengthen you. I delayed to refine you. And now you can look back and see that what felt like loss was shaping you. What felt like abandonment was actually alignment. What felt like delay was divine timing. The test was necessary because the blessing requires maturity. The promise requires stability. The next level requires depth. I do not build on weak foundations. I strengthen them first. My beloved child, the fire did not consume you. It purified you. And now you stand stronger, humbler, wiser, and more anchored than before. You were not being denied. You were being prepared. And because you endured the refining, you are now ready to receive what once would have overwhelmed you. I delayed to protect you, and soon you will understand fully why the timing was perfect. My beloved child, now listen closely as I speak truth over your life, because there are lies you have believed about yourself that must be broken in this moment. You have questioned your worth. You have wondered if you measured up. You have looked at your flaws, your weaknesses, your moments of doubt, and you have quietly asked, did I really pass? Am I truly worthy? And I answer you with clarity and authority. You proved yourself worthy not by perfection, but by perseverance. I never asked you to be flawless. I never required you to walk without stumbling. I did not expect you to face pressure without trembling. What I looked for was endurance. What I watched for was whether you would remain when leaving seemed easier. And you remained. Even when your steps were slow. Even when your faith felt small. Even when your prayers were mixed with tears and confusion, you stayed. Others walked away. You saw it. People who once stood beside you drifted when things became uncomfortable. Some left because the season was too heavy. Some left because loyalty was too costly. Some left because they did not want to wait through the silence. And you were tempted to follow them. You were tempted to say, why should I stay when everyone else is moving on? But something inside you held firm. Even when you did not fully understand why, you chose to stay planted. You stayed in faith when doubt tried to uproot you. You stayed in obedience when compromise offered an easier road. You stayed in humility when pride urged you to defend yourself loudly. That staying power was not weakness. It was strength forged quietly. You prayed when nothing changed. That alone speaks volumes. There were nights you knelt down and felt as if your words were echoing back at you. There were mornings you whispered my name and felt no immediate shift in your circumstances. You wondered if your prayers were rising at all. But you continued. Even when you did not see results, you kept reaching toward me. That perseverance in prayer revealed the depth of your faith. You forgave when it hurt. Do you understand how powerful that was? Forgiveness is not easy when betrayal stings. It is not simple when trust has been broken. You had every reason to hold on to bitterness. You had every excuse to build walls around your heart. But instead, slowly and painfully, you released what was choking your peace. You chose to forgive not because the other person deserved it, but because you trusted me with your pain. A choice changed you more than you realize. You remained loyal under pressure. When accusations came, you did not retaliate recklessly. When misunderstandings arose, you did not abandon your integrity. When stress tried to force you into panic decisions, you paused and sought my guidance. Loyalty under ease is common. Loyalty under pressure is rare. And you demonstrated it. You measured your worth by your mistakes, but I measured your worth by your faithfulness. You thought worthiness meant never failing. But in my kingdom, worthiness is built on staying connected to me even when you stumble. Worthiness is continuing to trust me after disappointment. Worthiness is returning to prayer after doubt. Worthiness is standing back up after you fall. Your worth was never based on how many times you got it right. It was based on whether your heart continued to turn toward me. And it did. Again and again, it did. Even in frustration, you came back. Even in confusion, you sought me. Even in weakness, you leaned closer rather than running farther away. Heaven noticed your endurance. You did not see the unseen celebration, but there were moments when your quiet obedience caused rejoicing beyond what your eyes could perceive. Every time you resisted temptation, angels bore witness. Every time you chose patience over anger, heaven acknowledged your growth. Every time you surrendered your will to mine, there was honor in the spiritual realm. You thought you were barely holding it together, but from my perspective, you were growing into strength. You thought you were weak because you felt exhausted. But exhaustion does not mean failure. It means you were fighting battles quietly and choosing faith despite fatigue. Let me correct a lie that has tried to root itself in your mind. You are not weak. You are chosen. You are not fragile. You are refined. You are not forgotten. You are favored. Weakness would have walked away completely. Weakness would have allowed bitterness to settle permanently. Weakness would have chosen revenge instead of forgiveness. Weakness would have stopped praying altogether. But you did not. Yes, you cried. Yes, you questioned. Yes, you felt overwhelmed at times. But those emotions did not define you. They humanized you. What defined you was that you kept returning to me. You kept trying. You kept believing, even when belief felt fragile. You proved your worth not by loud declarations but by quiet consistency. And no one applauded your patience. No one celebrated your silent sacrifices. No one saw the internal battles you fought to remain calm when anger rose within you. But I saw every hidden struggle and every hidden victory. There were moments when you thought you had failed the test because you doubted me. But doubt will not cancel devotion. Even in doubt, you still reached for me. That reaching mattered. There were moments when you felt ashamed of your weakness. But your weakness became the doorway for my strength to enter. You learned humility. You learned compassion. You learned to depend on grace rather than on your own ability. You remained loyal to my voice even when other voices tried to drown it out. You chose truth when lies were louder. You chose restraint when impulse tempted you. That loyalty is the mark of someone prepared for greater responsibility. You proved yourself worthy not by impressing the world, but by honoring me in private. Worthiness in my sight is not loud. It is steady. It is faithful. It is persistent. My beloved child, understand this deeply. I do not choose based on performance. I choose based on heart. And your heart, though imperfect, remained open. Your heart, though wounded, remained soft. Your heart, though tired, remained willing. That is why I say again, you are not weak. You are chosen. You were chosen before the test began. And the test revealed why you were chosen. Type, I trust you, Lord, with my future if you're surrendering what's ahead to Him, and share this video